Okay, let's talk about money privilege. I'm not sure if you're trying to say that my parenting advice isn't valid because I have some economic privilege. Your duty is always to take what I share and adjust it to you. So I'm not trying to hide my privilege, but I'm also not one of these crazy wealthy people. When I was growing up, my parents were both teachers. There was always enough, but I went to a school where everybody's parents were mostly doctors and lawyers, and I felt woefully poor. In fact, for a long time, I didn't even invite people over to my house because I was like, oh my God, it's so small. I took out a lot of loans to go to college, and in fact, I'm still paying them. And in my 20s and 30s, there was times when money anxiety was absolutely crippling, and we really had very, very little. So no, I've never had my heat or electricity turned off, and both in my childhood and in my adult life, I've always had enough to eat. I have stood in line at Trader Joe's and been like, oh God, I hope my card goes through. And there have been times when money anxiety has been absolutely crippling for me. And everything I share, you need to take and adjust to your particular life, scenario, child, experience, community. For my kids, I hope that they're able to avoid that amount of crippling money anxiety. I do want them to feel secure in knowing that there is going to be enough. And something that I practice as an entrepreneur is telling myself there is going to be enough, even when I don't always know how I'm going to get there. I want my kids to work with money, to play with money, and to be able to feel there's enough. I absolutely do not want them worrying about where we're going to get the money, how we're going to pay for stuff, anything like that. Now, is that a kind of privilege that I'm passing on to them? Yes, it is. And the thing about privilege is that it makes things less stressful. And the thing about inequity is that there is a real stress that goes along with not being able to access privilege. So that absolutely means, of course, it's going to be harder to stay regulated if you don't have some amount of economic privilege and there's a money issue going on with your kids. That doesn't mean it's not worth it to do. It just means that you may need more resources, more support, more help from other people, more time, more whatever in order to do it. And honestly, I think that reality should be woven into any analysis of equity, equality, privilege. So I'm sorry that you feel like my replies reek of someone who's never experienced hunger and never had their heat and electricity shut off. I want to spin this a little bit. What I want in this world is for no one to ever have their heat, electricity, or food supplies cut off. That is never okay. It is not okay for an adult, and it is not okay for a child. And I am so deeply sorry that that has happened to you and that we have failed you. And I do think it's a collective we. We collectively are responsible for and to each other. And yes, absolutely, this is political. No one should be hungry. No one should have their heat turned off. Children should also be held with care when they're learning about money. I don't want our children to have to grow into young people and young adults who are crippled with anxiety about money. And I don't think that lashing out at content creators and who are married to music teachers whose parents are teachers, we're not the ones that are taking all the money, I promise you. But we are the ones who want to work together to make our world more equitable. I think we can do that for each other.